Well, hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Build a Kingdom. Now I know it's been several months since our last Let's Build, but today we're here with the finale. That's right, we finally complete the kingdom today. But before we begin with the building, let's take a quick pan over what we've built so far, just to showcase the kingdom as it currently stands. Now here you can see the castle that stands at the very head of the kingdom. Next up you can see the cathedral. Now this stands on the very eastern wall of the kingdom. And in front of that you can see the medium wealth residential district of the kingdom. Next up you can see the guild district, and just to the south of that you can see the low wealth residential areas. Now here we can see the trade district of the kingdom, and this sits in the very northwestern corner of the kingdom. And here we have the town hall. There you can see we take a quick journey through some of the narrow alleyways of the kingdom and showcase the bridge that connects the guild district to the trade district. And now on to today's episode. This is the area that we'll be building in, and it's going to finish off the kingdom nicely. Here we're going to be building the high wealth residential district of the kingdom. Now for some variation in this part of the kingdom, I decided to carve a large box into the ground and build houses on a different level to those around them. So here using World Edit you can see me carve that box into the ground and connect it to the main pathways of the kingdom using cobblestone stairs and some fence posts to act as a handrail. Here you can see me toying with a few different materials, and in the end I decided to settle for quartz blocks as the floor of this submerged area of the kingdom. So here you can see me building up some framework for a terrace of houses. In the end I decided to go for 3 houses, and you can see me filling in that framework using dark wooden planks. Now it was time to design the roofs of this terrace of houses. So here you can see we've gone for a series of triangular peaked roofs, and each peak signifies each distinct house in the terrace. Now for some variation you can see that I've used quartz stairs and here you can see the frontage of those houses. Now I toy around with a few different materials and in the end decide to move the frontage of the house back by 1 block. And I felt that this gave the appearance of the house a little more depth. Here you can see me building a surround for the door and generally decorating the front of that house. there we copy the design onto each house and finally light up the fronts. And there you can see the finished design of those 3 houses. Now that the houses were complete, it was time to design the area in front of those houses. As you can see, it's just a large white area at the moment. Here you can see me adding in a few decorative pieces, and in a moment we'll add the gravel path that connects each front door to the main road. In just a second we'll cut to the finished product, and you'll see that we've added a very small pond and some greenery to add a splash of colour to an otherwise boring area. Now in this next clip you'll see me build a rather large mansion, this being the high wealth residential district. We can afford the houses to be ever so slightly grander than those elsewhere in the kingdom. So as usual, you can see me building up a framework and then filling in the areas that we left originally blank. And here we've used dark wooden planks. Next up it was time to build the roof. And sticking with the theme throughout the kingdom, we've gone back to the nether brick stairs. So it was just a case of building up that peak and rounding off any rough edges to get a roof that I was happy with. There you can see I've added the doorway to that small porch section that sits on the front of the house, and here you can see me adding in the decoration, the finishing touches to this piece. Finally here you can see me adding in some light just to light up that area, and throwing down a few pieces of bone meal to sprout up some foliage around that house. And there's the finished mansion. Here you can see the side in which we've added a couple of windows and the rear. So adjacent to this mansion we had a long, narrow stretch of area to work with. So I decided to add a communal park to this part of the kingdom. There you can see me building up the walls, and they were in the form of stone bricks and fence posts, and then to the rear 2 blocks of hedges. There you can see me snaking a path that goes right through the middle of the park, and adding in a few trees and a small body of water, and finally some light sources just to light that park up. And again you can see me adding some street lamps to light that area when it gets dark, and we'll take a quick journey through that park now that it's complete. quick flight over the high wealth residential district as it stands at the moment. But we still have one area left to build in the kingdom. For this final part of the kingdom, I decided to change the level yet again, this time raising it higher than the surrounding areas of the kingdom. So you can see me using the world edit at a large stone platform, and surrounding that with a stone brick wall. They're carving a stone brick path that runs right the way through that raised area. And down at the far side where we have a very narrow strip of land left to build in. There I'm just adding in some detail to the very harsh and plain wall that bordered the pathway, and there you can see a little bit more variation in that wall. So this is the final area left to build in. But before we begin in that area, here you can see me filling in that small green patch of land that we had left. I've added a few trees and bordered it with a hedgerow. And finally, you can see me adding in some small vegetable patches. This could be a communal type garden for the higher wealth residents of the kingdom to come and garden and grow their own fruit and vegetables in. So next up it was time to build the very final buildings of our kingdom. Here you can see me adding in the foundations for a row of terraced houses yet again. This time you can see we're using dark wood and cobblestone steps. After building the first floor, you can see that we've outcropped the entire building by one block and built that up. And next it was time to add again a series of peaked roofs . And we'll skip time forward ever so slightly, and you can see those roofs finally completed. Then it was time to design the fronts of these houses. So you can see me adding in some windows and doors to each of the front of those houses, as well as some street lamps that overhang the pathway below. Now these houses aren't exactly symmetrical, but I feel that adds to the charm of them. Each one's ever so slightly different to the previous. And now the very final area in which to build in the kingdom. There was just space for two small houses in this very narrow strip of land. The first of which I decided to add a circular tower to and connect that to a main rectangular shaped house. Here you can see me designing the peaked roof of the circular tower. And just behind that tower I'm building up a rectangular shaped house that's connected via a small walkway. Then it was time to just add the final details to the houses in this narrow strip of land. And that about does it. We take a quick tour down this final street. You can see the two houses that we've just built as well as that terrace on the right hand side. And that about does it. We'll take one final pan over the kingdom and showcase everything that we've built. And now as we rise above the castle that sits at the very head of the kingdom, that about does it. That completes Let's Build a Kingdom. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'd like to thank you all for your support. If you'd like to see more Let's Build in the future, please leave a comment below. And until the next time guys, take care.